The United States just admitted that the dollar system is breaking. It's not struggling, it's not unstable, it is breaking. Listen, behind closed doors, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent just revealed a roadmap for a global financial reset, one that's being built on your savings, your retirement, and ultimately your freedom. And if you're still playing by the old rules of money, you're not just falling behind, you're being set up to lose everything that you've worked for, everything that you've traded your time for. But here's the good news. If you understand what's happening now, you can flip the chaos into unstoppable wealth and seize the opportunity of this global shakedown. So let's dive in. Hey there, my friend. My name is Ryan Dealey. I'm the founder of the Wealth Outside of Wall Street YouTube channel. And if you're tired of getting crushed by inflation, trapped by taxes, and left behind while the rich get richer, you're in the right place. This channel is about real strategies that actually work, how to take control over your money, build passive income, and live life on your own terms. No Wall Street noise, no financial advisor games, just clarity and control, and ultimately your freedom. So if you're new here, smash that subscribe button and let's rise up together. So let's dive into the system that is breaking literally right before our faces. Yesterday, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent stood in front of the IMF and the World Bank and without meaning to, actually admitted what many of us already knew, that the current financial system is crumbling under its own weight. Check it out.
Well, look, I think that our move toward reordering the financial or trading system is a start.
He called out the IMF and the World Bank for mission creep, for focusing on climate change instead of stabilizing the economy. He demanded a rebalancing of the global financial system, and he warned that the world's trust in the fiat currencies, especially the dollar, is eroding rapidly. Now, when a politician says rebalancing, what they really mean is resetting. They're trying to rewrite the rules before the old game collapses. The dollar has been losing its dominance now for decades. In 2001, the dollar made up 71% of the global reserves. But in 2024, it's only around 58% of the global reserves, and that number is falling fast. As global trade shifts away from the dollar, the US loses control. And trust me, when the people running the system start publicly admitting cracks in the foundation, it's worse than they're letting on. So let's talk about what's coming next then. Scott Bessent's speech pointed towards three big moves that the US is likely going to make here in the coming weeks and months. Number one, strengthening alliances with the IMF and the World Bank. And they're going to do this to reassert the world dominance of the dollar. Number two, expanding global trade agreements, because America's biggest export right now, it's not goods and services, it's dollars. And then number three, he hinted at a pivot towards asset-backed currencies, potentially involving gold or other commodities. Now, if we go that route, that would take us all the way back to pre-1971, when our dollar bill was actually backed by a real asset like gold. But here's the bigger issue. Even if we try to restore the old order, they can't. The trust is gone, the debts are too big, and the cracks, well, they're just too deep at this point. You can't fix a crumbling foundation by painting the walls, which leads to the real question. How do you, in your money, in your retirement, with your financial plan, not just survive, but thrive, even if there is a global reset with the dollar as the world reserve currency? In order to thrive, playing defense, it's not just enough. You have to understand an offensive strategy at the same time. Most people, they're just going to react by hoarding cash, by buying gold, by waiting for things to get back to normal. But that kind of defense isn't going to save you. That kind of defense is just going to make your loss even that much more exaggerated. The real winners are going to start using this transition to build unstoppable passive income. Because assets that produce income, like cash flowing real estate, they give you three critical advantages that no other asset can. Number one, it's going to protect you from inflation. Imagine having an asset that actually rises with inflation. We all know that the median cost of homes have gone up all across the United States. In fact, if we date this all the way back to 1952 today, real estate has gone from $14,000 for a median priced 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, all the way up to almost $500,000 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. That's not necessarily because homes are more valuable then than they are now. It's because inflation is making the dollar weaker, less purchasing power over time. And the best part about it is you have an asset that gets more expensive as inflation goes up. Number two, real estate protects you because of leverage. You get to use the bank's money with weakening dollars to buy a real asset. I want you to consider this. With a 30-year mortgage, You get to buy a real asset that's going up in value because of inflation. You then get an opportunity to pay the bank back with devalued dollars over a 30-year period of time. Now, we know what the purchasing power of our dollar is today, but what about 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Imagine 30 years from now, paying back your very last dollar on your 30-year mortgage with dollars that are worth virtually nothing, whereas you use those dollars to buy an asset that over the previous 30 years had just been going up in value. You get an opportunity because of leverage to use the bank's money to literally make you wealthy. Number 3, you get an opportunity to open up the tax code playbook and use it to your advantage. The tax code is written like a treasure map. It's written to tell you how to use assets and investing in your favor to not defer taxes, because when you defer taxes in something like an IRA, you're just kicking the can down the road. You're deferring your biggest liability, which is future taxation. But when you buy an asset like real estate, you have a real opportunity to use the tax code to eliminate taxes forever. And the best part about it, you have that opportunity to use the tax code to generate tax-free income for the rest of your life. Owning an asset that works with the economy instead of against the economy, it makes you untouchable. It gives you an opportunity to ride the waves and get wealthier as things get more chaotic. When governments debase the currency, when banks fail, when resets happen, income is survival. And having assets that produce income, cash flow, that are tax advantage, that's not just survival, that's thriving with the winds of time. And here's the key takeaway. If you just keep saving, hoarding, and hoping that everything's going to get better, you're going to lose. But if you adapt to the new game, you will win. Here's how. The new game of money is actually pretty simple. If the dollar is cracking and the global economy is resetting, then your mission, the only mission that matters, is really pretty simple. Convert fake dollars into real asset. Consider this, an asset is something that someone always needs. This is why a single family home is so valuable. Everyone needs a place to live. Assets hold their real intrinsic value regardless of what currency we're using to measure that value. Everything changed in 1971. That's when the dollar stopped being backed by gold and became pure debt. That's when the government and the Federal Reserve turned our dollars into debt. And unless you understand how to leverage and use debt to your advantage, you're literally playing a game in today's world that is very hard to win. Debt and inflation make the game of saving for the future almost impossible. Every dollar you save today is someone else's liability. It's not a store of value anymore. It's simply a placeholder in a system built on promises and debt. In today's economy, savers are losers. Strategic owners, though, are winners. You win by converting fake dollars into real assets. Assets that produce cash flow, assets that protect your purchasing power, assets that can be leveraged without selling them to create more money tax-free. This is the real game of money, my friend. Use good debt to acquire real assets. Let inflation work for you, not against you, and use your growing equity as your personal printing press, borrowing more tax-free money while your assets keep appreciating. In a world where debt is money, real assets are your freedom engine. It's not about saving more dollars. It's about owning more value. The clock is ticking. The global reset is happening right now. And if you're still playing by the old rules, you're going to lose. Look, every system is perfectly designed to get the results that it's getting. The system that is designed today that most Americans are using for their future is getting them horrible results. If you want horrible results, or at the very best, average results, which is what the stock market is based on, is as average return for an average investor hoping for an average future. If you want something better than average, something that not only beats average, but gives you an extraordinary result, it's about designing and setting up a different system. That's where the passive income machine comes in. That's everything we've been talking about today. The system that you trusted your entire life is sending a flashy red warning light. Scott Bessant's speech wasn't an accident. It's literally a message. The old rules are crumbling. The only question is, will you see it and will you seize the opportunity that it's creating? If you don't have a new game plan, you're already playing defense and the clock is ticking fast. But if you build your passive income machine now, you could start using the economic forces like interest rates, taxes, opportunity costs, and leverage to build your wealth for you. You won't just survive this transition, you'll thrive because of it. I put together a free training that walks you through the exact steps to start building your very own passive income machine. The link is below, so check it out before you get pulled deeper into a broken system. So my friends, until next time, rise up and live free.